thanks for joining me on Profit with a Plan podcast. This is where you can get some great ideas to create your most profitable self and small business. Just so you know, financial planning isn't only for those that have a lot of money or run big companies. A workable financial plan is for us everyday small business owners and professionals that wish to keep more of your hard-earned money and make good financial decisions. So join me, Marcia Reiner, your certified financial planner and professional financial strategist, each Tuesday evening for some smart ideas that you can add more profits to your bottom line. At my company, Bella Financial Group, we help small business owners and professionals every day with sound financial strategies that increase their profits. If you're following me each week, I'd like to thank you. So reach out to me for a free 30-minute strategy session at Bella Financial Group or at my scheduling app, calendly.com/Marcia-16. So let's get on with the podcast. So today's podcast is all about what gets you going. In short language, what does that mean? Motivation. So what is your motivation? So everybody has to have a motivation as to what gets them going, what drives them in business, what makes them go to work for themselves, right? We can just go to work for the man and pick up a paycheck and go to work 8 to 5 and not worry about it. But we're weird. We're odd. We don't. We work for ourselves. We're small business owners and professionals. And what we do is we get up every morning and we think about our business. And we're working in our business and we're working on our business. And then on weekends, we're thinking about our business and we're working on our business. There's no 8 to 5 and no simple, easy paycheck. We work our ass off every single day to make our business more profitable. So why do we do this? This is our motivation. What drives you to do what you do? And I'd like you to take a little bit of time during this, after this, figure it out. What is it that drives you to do this? It can't be just pure insanity. It's got to be some reason that you get up and you want to show the world that you're a small business owner and a professional. So what is it that drives you? Is it your family? Is it your ability or wishing to leave an impact on the world? Is it, to make more money, to make less money, like some of us? What is that really drives you? And you truly need that understanding before you can work through all the troubles of having a business. So again, what drives you? So is it the money, or is it maybe what the money brings you? So does it bring you the freedom of going to work in your jammies or does it give you the freedom to take off on a Friday afternoon and go watch your kid play soccer? Does it bring you happiness and joy? Does it bring you satisfaction because you have done something that somebody told you couldn't? I mean, what is it? Maybe you're trying to prove something to somebody. Maybe you're trying to prove to that teacher or to that person that said you'll never amount to be anything, and you're up there throwing your shoulders back each day and trudging through the garbage to make your business something special. So motivation is what stands behind you when you're knocking on doors and they're slamming in front of you, or you're picking up the phone and someone tells you no, or nobody in your business can do anything and it's all you. There's so many reasons why we do what we do, but we do it. Do I have a yeah, we do it, from you guys? So your motivation is what gets you up each morning and makes you do that. And for some people, maybe it's not as easy to find that motivation as we really think. So I'd like you to take a couple of steps for me and really get down to what it is that is really your motivation. Rarely is it just money. More often it's what the money brings, the peace or satisfaction or self-worth that it brings. It may be to prove to somebody, and it may be just to, leave a footprint. I was here, and this is my impact on the world or the people that I serve. So I'd like you to really think about that next time you have a few minutes. And it is essential for understanding your financial plan is the motivation behind why you do what you do. So why is motivation so important to the plan? Well, what we're doing in planning let me rephrase that. So when we figure out what we're planning for, we've got to figure out what that motivation is going to be to get you to that goal. So last week I talked a lot about goals, and motivation is important to structure your goals and keep it going. But everything you do in your business and everything you do in planning has a goal base driving it. And what's behind the goal is your motivation. So it's really important to understand, what are you planning for, and what is the motivation behind it and why? So last week we talked about increasing your business 20%, just a random number, but there was something that was really driving you to want to earn 20% more. Was it just the successfulness of the business? Or was it to, take care of your family, or to achieve something, or to leave something? And that's why when we're planning, it is essential to understand what your motivation is so we can support that, and that will also help you through those rainy days as well. So oftentimes motivation can be driven by either a carrot that's dangling in front of you and you're going to drive and reach for that carrot, or it could be the hot burning poker that's sticking you in the behind, that if you don't keep moving, you're going to get it. Fear often is a more powerful motivator than reward. So understanding what could happen if you didn't achieve that goal, or make that 20% increase, or drive the business to the next step, or create it successful, oftentimes it's better to focus on what would happen if it didn't, if you couldn't achieve that or move the business forward. So sometimes those fears are more powerful than the achievements are. Personally, I'm not a fan of having someone go, well, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, because that doesn't motivate me. But on the flip side, if you do this, we're going to give you an extra blank, or we're going to give you a gift card, or you're going to win a turkey, or whatever you're going to win. That often doesn't motivate me either. But to find out what truly motivates you to do what you need to do is really going to help you with having success and more profits in your business. And I think it's more important, and I said it earlier, one of the important parts of motivation is it keeps you going when you don't feel like it. Right? We get up, we go through the trenches, we work every day, and it's every day, small business owner, right? It's not just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but every day, you're constantly thinking about the business and pounding through, and what can I do, and how can I do it better, and how can I do it for less cost and get more income off of it. But if we don't have a driving force behind us, meaning that motivation, then it's going to be even more challenging when you don't feel like doing it to keep going. So how do we use motivation to achieve the goals that we want to do? And like I've said a little bit earlier here, get down to the real why behind it all. What is truly driving you? And I keep repeating that, but you've got to dig in deep. And really the way to dig in is say, well, what happens, as an example, so you want to make you want to make more money, or say we put a dollar value on it, or we put a percentage value on it, or we put a time goal on it. In the next quarter, 3 months, you want to make an extra $10,000, an extra $50,000, an extra $100,000, whatever that number is. You want to make that. And I'll ask you, well, why? Well, because I want the money. Well, what does that money do for you? Well, that money will allow me to pay off some debt. It'll allow me to do this. Well, what does paying off debt really mean for you? And you start driving down those questions and continue to ask the why until you hit that emotional point where you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to give me more freedom so I can spend time with my family. Or my aging mother is going to need some care, and I want to provide that. She's done so much for me. Or, it's just... I had an example, and this is kind of a funny one, of a client that wanted to achieve more in his wealth portfolio, and this is when I was doing investment strategies, in his wealth portfolio, and his real true why was so he can continue to keep the cabin that he had up in the mountains for the family. And when I got down to the why of all of that, it wasn't the cabin and it wasn't handing it down. It was the time he got to spend with his children and his grandchildren, where there was no internet service and there was no TV, and they got to really just be together and get to know each other. So his true why was not making money. It was what the money did for him. And that's really how we get down to how we use the motivation to achieve our goals. Last week, I also spoke to you about short-term and long-term goals, and I think motivation is the same thing. If we're breaking down our goals into 90-day chunks, 30-day chunks, a weekly goal, a daily goal, that motivating factor is easier to keep the blood flowing and pumping and keeping you going each day to achieve the longer term goal, which is a year out or 2 years out or 10 years out, because we're doing it each day and the motivating factor is keeping us going. So it's even better if we can visualize what our motivation is. And in that motivation of things, but it really works when you can visualize the goal that you want to take and the motivation behind that goal, and then you take action on it. So the visualization is beautiful in its own mind because you can see yourself and feel yourself in that goal, completion of that goal. But if you don't take those actions, nothing ever happens. So you can't just visualize. That's why I love the word action behind it. But maybe it's setting a picture of that cabin, or a picture of your child playing violin. Maybe it's a picture of your family, or a picture of that cruise you want to take, or that house you want to buy, or that car you want to buy, or the successfulness of your business and you winning awards, or whatever it is. But if you can visualize it and then have some sort of physical evidence of it, then it makes it much better, because then that will help you take those actions. And it's really funny. This evening, I'm actually going off to an event tonight where I'm going to make a vision board. So this is a perfect tool to help us with motivation and the goals that we want to achieve if we can visualize it and put it into a form that's in front of us. So it's a great step to take. Next week, I'll tell you how wonderful my vision board worked out. But that's what I'm doing this evening to help me with my motivation and my goals, to really put things that are deeply important to me to help me push through the times. So speaking of, what happens when you get off track or you lose that flow or that motivation that's driving you? It's common. We all go through it. And if I use even an example of a diet, you go through, we're in January, everybody wants to lose weight. You keep going. And then all of a sudden someone presents you with a cookie, my weakness, a cookie. And then you eat one and you're like, damn, I blew my whole diet. Do you just give up? No, you kind of work through the problem and you keep going. So ways to help you when you do get off track is to write down the reasons again for your why, to visualize them, i.e. a photo that you have, and then use that as a reminder. We're going to step off of our track occasionally. We're going to fall off the wagon, but the real motivation behind you is going to pull you back on that wagon. To say, it was just a cheat day or a cheat minute, and I'm going to get right back on. There's so many things that you can't control in your life and in your surroundings. Don't worry about the things you can't control, but worry about the things that you can control. And when you take a step off or you fall off the curb, step right back on. Look at your motivation, feel your motivation, and then get back on that path and take that first step and your second step and your third step and start reaching towards those goals again. You will succeed. Sometimes you have to review the plan that you have when you fall off track. Maybe there was something that was not reachable or not realistic, or something else outside of our control got in the way and made us lose track. So sometimes you have to review. How about review the plan that you have and see if there's any corrections that need to be made. Maybe it's an adjustment. Maybe it's plan A wasn't working, so plan B is a tweak on plan A and we're going to keep going. Or maybe, I've been knocked off my track so many times, maybe this isn't the path I should be on. Remember, when we're doing shorter goals, we can make those corrective factors. And so to keep that motivation going, sometimes we have to figure out, maybe it really wasn't the cabin in the sky that was motivating me. Maybe it was something else. And that's why I couldn't stay on track, because that wasn't important enough. Is this making sense to you? I hope it is. So another thing that we want to do to keep us on track or get us back on track is to be consistent. Do something every single day towards your goal. And that motivation driving behind you will feel more important when you're doing something every day to achieve it. I think I might have said it once before. My mom used to say, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. You have to start just little bites and keep going. But that consistency is going to give you those little wins in your goals. They're going to give you that motivation. You're going to feel the wind in your sail. You're just going to keep going when you're consistent and when you're able to have that motivation behind you. And finally, when we get off track, know that you're not an island. Go get some help. Nobody can do this life thing all by themselves. We need friends, we need family, we need mentors, we need coaches, we need experts, we need specialists. Know that you can't achieve your goals all by yourself. You're not an island. You're part of a tribe. And I suggest you find people that can help you keep you motivated, keep you on track, and keep your goals going forward. Because in order for you to be truly profitable, you've got to make some great changes. You've got to use that motivation as the driving force behind you, whatever your motivation is, and those will help you achieve your goals. So, to recap, what gets you going is your motivation, and it's incredibly important to have a plan behind that motivation, and then to use those goals to help keep your motivation going and to visualize them. And then when you get off track, just go right back on it. Be consistent. Make any corrections you have and just keep chugging along. Don't give up. But that motivation driving behind you will help you from not giving up. So, thanks so much for listening today. I hope you found an idea or two to put into your business that will help make you more profitable. I'd love to hear your questions and feedback and ideas for future shows. You can reach out to me on any of my social channels. I'm on Facebook at Marcia Reiner. I'm on at Bella Financial. You can find me at LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm posting on YouTube, but they're kind of old. I'm going to get going on that. That's one of my goals coming up. Or you can reach me at my website, which is bellafinancialgroup.com. Please don't forget to subscribe to my podcast. You won't want to miss future podcasts. And please don't keep me as the best kept secret. I'd love you to share this with your friends. Remember, if you are following me, I'm offering a free 30-minute strategy session over the phone where you will walk away with at least two ideas that you can implement into your business that will help you increase your profits. So, you can catch Profit with a Plan on your favorite podcast players. I'm on Podbean, iTunes, iHeart, Google Play, and Stitches. So looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. And until then, make your plans and profit with it. Talk to you soon.